Hello, everyone. It's Pricelda Cid, and I'm here with Esther Kainz from Vienna, Austria, and we're here to talk about how our work environment could affect our bodies and our minds, and how she has been coping with this entire change. Hello, Esther.
Hi Priscilla, how are you?
I'm doing good today. It's 8, almost 9 a.m. here. And what time is it out there with you?
It's almost 6 p.m.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, thank you for meeting with me today. I'm just going to ask you a few questions and then just go ahead and answer. Feel free to add whatever it is that you find that it's important. So, first question, Esther. What was your job requiring of you of the past, and how has that changed now that we're all kind of stuck at home? How are you working? And please just go through the whole thing because it sounds very complicated. How does a ballerina do their job from home?
So actually, I'm owner of a ballet studio here in Vienna.
Mhm.
So I dance myself, but also I teach a lot. Usually I go to class every morning at 10:30 and do a class for myself for keeping my body in shape. And in the afternoon, I teach students of all levels, kids, teenagers, and adults. By the end of 9 p.m., I'm usually coming back home, and that's my working day. I am basically all the time in the studio.
And you're moving all the time.
Yes.
And how has that changed?
Um, so now we are all stuck at home. So I had to
Mhm.
adjust, make a little ballet classroom in my living room.
I
I
see that. I like it.
I started doing Zoom classes for my students. So they all get links sent for their regular class levels, and then they can log on to Zoom and join a class. So I teach
Great.
online now, which
Hmm.
is much harder than in person. But after 2 weeks of adjusting, I kind of feel secure now that I can also handle the technical aspects. In the background, you hear my cat, so she's my co-teacher now, and she really loves ballet class. Starts to move the minute I teach.
Interesting. So now, do you find that you're moving a lot less? Yeah, I mean that I see that you had a huge studio before, and now you have this small space. How has that impacted the way that you teach your classes?
So I had like ballet class includes a whole section of jumping.
Hmm.
Basically, we have cut all big jumps because now in the studio we have a sprung floor for our students, and has a plastic cover on top. So now
Hmm.
everybody's at home, either in their kitchen or their living room,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of different floors going on.
Yeah.
So basically, most of the home floors are much harder than a studio floor. So we have to take care jumping not to injure any joints.
Hmm.
So we cut out a lot of the actual jumps and substitute with exercises that have a high impact on your thigh muscles. So you get don't lose the muscle toning for jumps, but we actually reduce the jumps.
So you basically compensated one movement for the other.
Yes, we try. I try to like um, build exercises that will have a lot of impact on your thigh and calf muscles,
Hmm.
but are not actually jumping movements.
So, Esther, so now with this entire change, and this is kind of the ergonomic part of it. How do you feel that your desk setup has changed, your entire work environment? Can you go into how you made those adjustments?
So yeah, as you can see, I have a ballet bar in the back of me. I
Mm-hmm.
brought this ballet bar from one of my studios into my flat to have something to hold on to,
Mm-hmm.
which is stable. And I know that some of my students started building their own homemade ballet bars out of tubes and stuff.
Oh, wow.
um, I also brought a mat and all of my gymnastic balls and everything to like roll out my muscles.
Oh,
And
nice.
I bought some kind of metal thing to put my computer on to have the
Uh-huh.
best view for my Zoom classes, that everybody can see me well. I will just quickly show
Yeah,
you
can you
from
show
where I'm
that?
shooting. It's something like that.
Oh, wow. So do you work on that as well? Do you sit there and do emails and
No,
whatnot? Or
actually, it's put pretty low, so you would need to like sit on the floor to to reach the keyboard.
uh-huh.
It's especially for the Zoom classes that I have the computer far enough, so I will be visible, like full body image for my students.
Oh, that's so interesting. Now, Esther, question number 3. Do you have any new strategies, new hobbies, new routines, anything that you've incorporated into your day to kind of help you with this adjustment?
Yes, actually, it took a little bit, but in the first 2 weeks, there is a lot of new content coming up for ballet dancers on the internet. A lot of big companies stream their classes for their dancers now online, and you can pick them up for free, even if you're not a member of that company. I found a really, really good class from the English National Ballet. They stream it every day, and it's like a company class in the morning, as I used to have in my own studio, but now our teacher cannot come, and I still need to take class to stay in shape and keep my muscles supple. So I follow that class, and it's taught out of another kitchen in England into my living room, and you just get the exercises from the ballet mistress, and then you follow along as good as you can. And it actually is it's a very hard class, but if you don't get anything right away, you can stop and repeat. So this is kind of a thing that's even better.
It's not live.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They
That's
put it on
actually
YouTube, and then you can download, or you can just stream it whenever you have time for it.
So do you think they're going to keep this going after everything goes back to normal?
As I feel, Zoom teaching is much harder, and with a lot of more complications in like getting the subject over to the second person. I would immediately jump back to teaching person to person if it's possible. With ballet, there is a lot of danger doing things wrong, and you could get injured, especially if it's a student that has no professional background. So I don't think I would prefer Zoom classes. And also, I think the quality of training person to person is much better and faster. So I would not emphasize to have this as a second leg, you know?
Yeah. But it's a good fix. It's a good temporary solution for all of
Well, it's the only solution we have. We got to do something.
Right. No, you said it is the only solution that we have at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, and also I do some Pilates classes to keep fit. I can actually do a lot of cross training now, yoga, and Pilates, and strengthening exercises, even physiotherapeutic exercises, which help strengthen muscles that I have injured throughout my career. And usually I don't do that as much as I should, because teaching classes in the studio takes a lot more time than I have to teach now, because the Zoom classes are much fewer than the real classes. But yeah, so I try to like do a lot of cross training, and that's something I did not incorporate into my regular daily life in this amount.
Do you think you could show us a few things? I know a lot of people, when they're working at their desk, they complain of shoulder, back pain. Is there any sort of stretches that you feel that you've had to do as well, that you could share with us?
Yes, actually, I can show you one of my favorite stretches. I'm gonna bring out my mat here.
Let me change the view.
Your feet are hip wide, and you roll down and you walk with your hands until your body is in a V shape. Stretch the toe ligaments, as well as you reach out with your upper body. It's very good for your arm, for your stomach muscles, and the back of your legs. And then you can walk out your hips like that, from right to left. Then you could even come into standing, stretch a little more, roll up, and go down again. And you could repeat that a couple of times if you really want to stretch more. You can also go to the outside of your feet, which is a good stretch for dancers. And I do this several times until I feel my whole body is warmed up, and continue different other stretches.
Oh, nice. Do you have anything for like the lower back that you feel that helps you?
Actually, I injured my lower back a couple of years ago, and I have one physical therapy exercise where you lie flat on your tummy with your arms spread, and then you cross over with your back leg and try to reach the floor here. And the head is looking into the direction your cross leg is going. And you repeat this in a comfortable speed many times, at least 20.
I don't know if I could do that.
It's really softening up the lower back.
It's to strengthen it.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And also to mobilize.
Mm-hmm. So this is our last question, Esther. Well, kind of. But is there anything in specific you wish you would have had to better prepare for this? Anything that you would do for yourself to keep going with this entire process?
Well, the only thing that I might still get if this is lasting any time longer, or a good amount of time longer, I wish I would have a ballet floor.
Mm-hmm.
And actually I saw that many big companies cut little pieces of meters for their dancers and send it home for them, so they can put it on top of the floors they have in their houses, because you need a specific consistency of the floor. It needs to be slippery but not too slippery.
Right.
And usually it's a plastic floor with a certain consistency, and yeah, that's something you can easily order with your local company, and they send it worldwide. So I'm thinking now about getting a few meters of ballet flooring.
Yeah, I mean, I like that the companies are also taking care of their dancers, so they're sending them things to kind of protect, because you're moving all the time, so it's important for them
and
to come
even
back.
if we don't have the space anymore, because that's the two things we need is space and floor. Actually, we don't have any other equipment for dancing, and since we don't have the space anymore, at least the floor could help.
Right. And I mean, the exercises that you said, that you compensate, you're not moving this way, but you could do these exercises so that your muscles don't get weak in that area. That's great. And then one last question. How do you end your day? So many of us are having to work at home, and there's really, I think, I don't know, at least I am having a hard time defining the end of my day. What is it that you do?
Actually, this has been pretty hard, because now that everybody is at home, people send messages, emails 24/7. Some of the early birds send it like right away when they wake up at 6 a.m. Others send it at 3 a.m. when they're not asleep anymore.
Right.
So messages have been all over the place in the first 2 weeks, and now I try to not look at the messages when they come, but I let a bunch of messages come together and then see them all in the morning when I get up at like 10:30, as I would usually start working, and not read them like in the night in the bed when the person just sent an email at 1 a.m.
Right.
So I try to not do that with my work emails. Usually I would not do it because I would be asleep, or I would be at work, and when teaching I can't check my emails, but since it's a very close space now and it's only 3 meters to my computer, and I don't have anybody like preventing me for checking mails, this is something that has been hard. Now I try to wait until there's a bunch of them coming together, and then I answer all of them at once.
Right. This was great, Esther. I don't know if you have any other tips for our listeners on how to cope with all this. Please share if there's anything else that you could think of.
So one more thing which has been really difficult for me is drinking enough water. because usually I have my water bottle and every hour I refill it. And when I'm teaching, I'm just drinking a lot of water while dancing and moving. And now at home, I'm not as used to it because you would have to go into the kitchen, pour yourself a glass of water, come back. So it's not with you at all the time. So I try to have this manner of taking my water bottle with me, even if my class is just in the living room, and just keep it like that.
Yeah, and stay hydrated, stay healthy. Well, Esther, thank you so much for your time. This was great. So if you need more help with ergonomic creative workspace setups and ways on incorporating wellness techniques to your workday, please reach out to ergotherapy.us. Thank you.
Yay.